Hello friends, welcome back to our channel Materialize PSI, and today we are going to discuss this question from 2025 and how we have to solve questions like this. The question is discuss the political socialization of open and closed societies. For questions like these, I always recommend because you have to explain both open and closed. That means there are two contrasting societies, and you have to break down this question into two contrasting contrasting examples. All right. And before we move on to solve this question, please, guys, if you like my content, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And if you want more content like this, please join me on my Telegram. The link will be provided below the video. All right, now let's move on to how to solve these questions. All right, so as I said, you have to consider two contrasting examples, one for open and one for closed. And of course, before moving on to this, you can give a brief introduction. In introduction, you can explain what is political socialization, that is, how society creates political culture. Political culture. All right, this was a theory given by Elmond and Verba. All right, two scholars of comparative politics who gave the concept of civic culture, which explained political socialization in different societies, or let's say different countries. So again, this is a question of paper 2, and this question is related to somewhat related to comparative politics. All right. So again, now when we have to consider first two contrasting examples before breaking down this question, because that is going to uh, help you answer this particular question. Why? Because let's say, because when you have to answer these two in contrasting these two values, you have to first think of examples like what are open societies are like, let's say Nordic countries. All right, where there is a freedom of speech, there are democratic values, you are free to express your opinion, so on and so forth. Nordic countries, India, all right, USA. And then you have to think of contrasting example, that in contrast to these countries or these societies, what are those societies where the system is very close, as in like there is less freedom of speech, less freedom of expression, people are very restricted, or they are being controlled or manipulated by the state or the authority that is ruling that society or country. And what are those countries or societies? For example, let's take Afghanistan, all right, North Korea, again, and China. Now, when you brainstorm this question or answer this question, you have to break down the structure into these two formats. All right. Now, when you answer for open societies, how does political socialization happen in these open societies? Is that there is strong civil society. All right, strong civil society which practices freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. There is dissent, freedom of dissent, criticism. All right, criticism. So this creates what? Political plurality. All right. This also, you can link this to the concept of polyarchy. Polyarchy. All right, by Robert Dahl. What is polyarchy? That there are different groups in a political system. Different groups in a political system who have their own demands. All right, and everyone is almost in a similarly equal position to claim for those to have a claim on those demands. Different groups with different demands. All right. In contrast, when we look at countries like Afghanistan, North Korea, or China, the civil society is weak civil society. All right, and there is weak freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is also weak. So there is very low scope of dissent. All right, there is low scope or dissent. if they, when there is low scope for dissent, that is they are also characterized by low pluralism. All right. Basically, there is one ethnic group or one political identity that is dominating. All right. Again, now what are another points where we can think that they differ? All right. Over here, agents of socialization in open societies. All right. In open societies are what? Uh, Media, free media, schools, colleges, all right, NGOs, pressure groups, all right, multiple political parties, right? Over here in closed society, what are agents of socialization? Agents of socialization in closed societies, what are? Basically, in countries like North Korea and China, it's state, state, state agenda. All right, state agenda that is being taught in schools. All right, schools and colleges. State controlled media. All right. So these are what? These are symbols of totalitarianism. All right. So in totalitarianism, what happens is that the state controls the opinion of people. In simple word, it is called manufactured consent. Manufactured consent. ठीक है, क्योंकि क्योंकि जो स्टेट ही सब कुछ कंट्रोल कर रहा है इन कंट्रीज लाइक अफगानिस्तान, इट्स बेसिकली द रिलीजन इज द मेन एजेंट. ऑलराइट, जैसे जब आफ्टर रिटर्न ऑफ तालिबान अफगानिस्तान डिक्लेयर्ड एज ए मुस्लिम और ऑफिशियली Islamic country. So the Islam or the Islamic clergy in Afghanistan is the main agent of political socialization. Again, what are another factors? In open society, you will find political system that is very open and diverse. How it is open and diverse is that because almost everyone can easily participate for public position. And again, diverse. Why? Because how? Multi-party system. You will see multi-party system. All right. Multiple ethnic identities. All right. There will be multiple ethnic parties identities and multi-party system. Why? And it is open because easily almost every public citizen, they have relatively easy access to run for public offices or public positions. For example, for bureaucracy, you have exams. All right, you participate in exams, you crack the exams, and you get the position. For public offices or political offices, you run for elections, you win the elections, and you uh, uh, go on to hold that public position. But in closed societies, the political system is very closed. All right, it's not so easy to run. For example, in North Korea, the public positions, political or public positions, positions are in the hands of the political leader. Who is the political leader? Kim Jong Un. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, but I think you get my point. Again, there is one single party. In North Korea, there is one single party. There is no pluralism. And even in China, there is only Communist Party. Alright, other than Communist Party, no party is allowed to exist. Alright, Communist Party has monopoly, or let's say hegemony over the political system of China, and it is a closed society. Again, let's look at the minority rights, the minority groups. Minority in open societies, they are given affirmative actions. All right, minority rights. Again, in closed society, minority is suppressed. For example, in China, you can look at the condition of Uyghur Muslims. All right. In Afghanistan, in Afghanistan, people who are not Muslims are being persecuted. All right, or they are not safe. So again, this is how you break down questions like these into answer. All you have to do is first look at the question. You see two contrasting. There is two contrasting values, and that you have to analyze. So before answering that, you think of the examples of open society and closed societies. Then, using those examples, you break down what are the open value systems that you find in these countries, and what are the contrasting values that you find in these countries. And when you brainstorm these examples or brainstorm these values contrastingly, you will easily be able to write down the answer for this particular question. And again you can summarize with a decent conclusion that regardless how close a society is in the modern world or in the 21st century, the power of internet or social media is bringing political modernization political modernization even in closed societies. All right, closed societies. Political modernization is another concept of comparative politics. It says that how closed societies are slowly or gradually moving towards open societies. All right, from authoritarianism to democratic values. So you can conclude with this particular content. All right. Again, when you write your answers like this with examples, with contrasting examples and contrasting values, the examiner will understand that this particular candidate has practical knowledge. All right. A lot of people that solve PSIR questions, they just write theory, and author. There is no there are no examples, or there are no contrasting manifestations in that particular answer, and it looks very mechanical. But when you think on these lines, you will be able to write an organic answer that is practical and can be seen manifesting in real life. All right, this is how you write this is how you deal with questions like this. So thank you very much, guys. If you like my content, please like, share and subscribe. And also there will be link of Telegram, and you can join my Telegram group with the link shared below. Thank you very much.